Here, Indian teens used to avoid a few girls, especially issues that don't that. ಏನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾಮರಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ used to tie this manual fans. You avoid some girls to just pull it. Think about it. Here, Indian keys, there are no fans, you know. There are some springs there. Somebody used to pull it. Who was springs? I think we have started the discussion on e-commerce. I want all of you to understand that the context in which we are discussing e-commerce is not to understand the simplest way of starting a website and running it successfully. One student came to me the other day and said he has finally understood what the subject means, for he now knows how to build a website. He was fortunate enough. That was his name. Cool state of mind. Otherwise, you would have received a slap from him. I very well know that there is this misconception among most of you that when you do something here, the ultimate result being a system delivered over internet. We are studying something related to websites. Not necessarily. In fact, I keep on saying this again and again, that these discussions are only incidental. Web, at the end of the day for us, is a medium over which we do our activity, that's all. It is no better than any other platform in which we can start our work. For example, mobile networks. Increasingly I feel, this I am telling you as a practitioner in this field, having developed over 30-35 web solutions, I now understand that the real power of internet we have not been able to harness properly. In future, when you actually start your professional careers, the demand will be more on integrating the web and the mobile experience together rather than building a standalone web application. No future application of tomorrow will reside solely on web. If you are able to build an iPhone app for the web application that you are developing, yes, that will be accepted in the market. The future challenge lies there. So please understand that these are just different mediums for us. We should not lose sight at the central goal. The central goal is how best we can collect and manage information. That is our sole aim here. All other things are incidental to the storytelling. Largely, whenever we speak about e-commerce, two basic kinds emerge. One kind of e-commerce, which I call as partial e-commerce, happens when an established business institution wants to extend its presence onto the web. And the second category of e-commerce, I would like to classify them as pure e-commerce players. They don't have an existence in the physical world. Their presence is solely on the web. Now, given these two different kinds of e-commerce, the main difference between these two kinds of e-commerce lies in the fact that the chances of survival is more on the first kind of e-commerce. That is, companies which have a physical presence and then try to use web to build their portfolio, they have more chances of surviving in tomorrow's competitive economy than some fringe players who think that they can survive only on web. Again, what I am trying to emphasize upon you is that if you think that you can simply launch a website and then have a sound business logic based on that, that will not materialize. Why won't it materialize? Because again, your focus mostly will be only on the website, not on creating a holistic system which can properly utilize the resources of the web. To make the things very clear, I was thinking on how to approach this particular topic. I suddenly remembered a book which I read long ago, so I brought this book along with me. It's an old book, but definitely this book had captured the essence of what had to be done. But unfortunately, nobody took this book seriously during that time. I've read this book many times, but again when I was reading it yesterday, I felt yes, this book is fresh as it was before some 10 years when it was first published. The book is by a very different author. You will be surprised. It's by Bill Gates. Most of you may have read it. Some of you may have read it. This is by Bill Gates. It was first published in 1999. I got this copy in 2000. It's already 10 years old. The title of the book is Business at Speed of Thought. Bill Gates though wrote this book in 1999 when Google was still not a big name and Microsoft was doing everything possible to come into internet. Before I go into the topics discussed in this book, which I feel is very, very important, I want to make certain comments. One of the irony of the man who wrote this book is that he himself could not succeed in this domain. Microsoft's continuous attempt to build some kind of business on internet has always failed. They started with a bang by acquiring Hotmail. 400 million, 700 million, I don't remember the price. They started with a bang. Hotmail was acquired. But there was no killer application which came from their company which could take on some of the leaders who emerged later. Amazon was there then. Yahoo was very much present during the time this book was written. But I think Microsoft didn't take them seriously. The idea which Microsoft believed at that time was that they could use their huge user base who were using their operating system and applications to switch over to next generation applications which they will develop over web, which did not happen. In a sense, this is a very interesting history in computing. IBM at a point of time thought that they had a loyal customer base who would not migrate anywhere. Microsoft seized that opportunity to take over from IBM. IBM was found sleeping, Microsoft took over. After a point of time, Microsoft was found sleeping and many other companies took over. Who will take over them is the next question, but that's always there in history. In this book, among the many things which Bill Gates said and which I appreciate very much, there is one central concept which runs through the book, which I feel we never understood clearly, at least in these 10 years. He does not use the word internet. He does not use the word internet in his discussion. He uses the term digital nervous system. Digital nervous system, that is the word he uses. The point which he forcefully makes again and again in the book is that an organization has to create a digital nervous system. It's a very interesting metaphor, I guess. When we say that a company should have digital nervous system, I am not speaking about internet as a mere technology. I am referring to that as something which is very, very critical for running my operations. That is what I keep saying about information systems also. If you consider information systems as a living organism, consider information system as a living organism, then all the components which make for information system are vital components of a human body kind of a thing. No one part is more important than the other, but you have to develop that holistic view. Until and unless you don't understand the system in an integrated fashion, the system will collapse. The problem with most of you, as I have understood through your writings, is that you are not able to understand that this is one whole system put together. The whole system is not made up of pieces. It's an organic system which has to work together. So if you understand this idea of digital nervous system, probably you may get a better idea of what we are trying to achieve here. When we say we are interested in network, yes, we are interested in networks, but not only in networks. When I say I am interested in storage, it's not only storage, not only software. Everything put together, that integrated view, what you get, we are interested in that whole sum. So Bill Gates in this book explains that digital nervous system which should be created within the organization using all these resources, how fast you can build it and how effectively you can use it will decide whether you will succeed or not. If we look at some of the points he has written here and then see whether we have actually accomplished it or not, we will see the real reason of what has happened to the internet story in these 10 years. I will quickly run through the 12 points which he had mentioned and then add my comments to say what was that point of failure. Some of the things which he has said here, even today we have not implemented. I am not saying there is no technology. People say that finally India has awakened to the internet economy. We have a chief minister who blogs. We have a union minister who writes tweets and gets controversial. We have one of the biggest sporting event in the world happening, which has its exclusive channel in YouTube. We have created a medium, an alternate source of revenue for this sporting through apps written for iPhones. Finally, internet economy is coming to age in India. In fact, I saw yesterday a website which offers online courses by some important professors from IITs and IIMs. Each course costs about $500. I don't know who is subscribing to the course, but going by the figures given by that company is doing very great. So maybe finally we are entering into an era where internet and web makes sense. But those are all distant stories. If you ask me very frankly, I don't see anything happening around me. time. Take for example a simple example I keep on giving of MSRF itself. Despite the possibilities, I was asking someone the other day about what was the amount of IT implementation which happened during the time of the college fest. I was told that there was a college website which unfortunately I didn't see, Fest website. But I was thinking that this is high time that somebody came forward and said that we will develop an ecosystem for at least conducting a small size fest like ours, wherein all the events updates, winner announcements and kind of community development happening around the fest in the cyber world with all the applications which are available. An Orkut community, a Facebook, a Twitter update, using the form services available in Google, the online forms facility for registering for events. The systems are there which can be pulled together to form an ecosystem which can help the college give that kind of a image in the new economy. That was not done, I understand. So let us quickly go through all the 12 points which Bill Gates said in 1999 and see how far we have reached there. You should understand that this was a time when even in USA only half of the households had computers and among them half of them had internet connection. We are speaking of that time. The first suggestion we gave was insist that communication flow through the organization over email so that we can act on news with reflex like speed. Focus is communication here. See that the communication happens digitally so that the action to be taken becomes fast, the time for action. I think somehow we have reached the level of maturity in communication. But what is the problem? We communicate over net. We send emails. We do so many things. But are they being converted into knowledge bases is the question. Imagine a company which is using email to exchange information within its employees. They exchange news, they exchange information. Are they building a base over which they can derive something tomorrow? When an employee leaves, are you retaining that knowledge in some way? No. Internet communication have not been developed into knowledge bases. See, earlier what used to happen, when people used to travel from one place to other, whatever travel notes they used to make, they would make it into a book that will be released. Today also we can read all of them and understand what was happening. That is not possible in internet. They have not upgraded themselves to become knowledge bases. That is our main problem. Next few things which he says we have never done that. In fact, that is what you are also not able to understand. Study sales data online to find patterns and share insights easily. Understand overall trends and personalize the service for individual customers. One of the greatest attraction of e-commerce over traditional commerce is always that you can customize your solution. Instead of giving a same interface and same kind of choices for everyone, we always say that in e-commerce you can customize your service. How far we have reached, because data analytics is required, which is not happening, which is what he says next. Use PCs for business analysis. We are not doing it. Business analysis is not happening. People think that they will create a website and leave it there. How do you collect back the data and do the analysis of the existing data? That is missing. Use digital tools to create cross-departmental virtual teams to share knowledge. There are tools which will help you to help create a community. How far is it implemented? No. Convert every paper process to digital process. Paperless office, as it is said even in this book, is something which has never materialized. Paperless office and artificial intelligence, people always say will happen, but we don't know when it will happen. It's always tomorrow. Use digital tools to eliminate single task jobs. One of the main attraction of e-commerce always is that it helps people specialize. As I keep saying, one of the major contributions of e-commerce, if you see anywhere, is the elimination of middleman. Anywhere between the seller of a service and a buyer of a service, if there is a middleman, e-commerce always eliminates it. So people who always try to build an application playing the role of a middleman, they are going to lose. I am saying about all these companies which act as a middleman for you to buy tickets, to book hotels. There is no way that they will survive apart from a particular period of time in history. They can't survive forever. Because at some point of time, the buyer of the information and the seller of the information will get connected to each other directly. So this middleman will have a very limited role to play. So if you are a single task person, your job is to just get the customers, book the tickets. That job has to be eliminated. One more letdown of the e-commerce development which happened was this one. Use digital tools to help customers solve problems for themselves. It was assumed that there will come a point of time wherein there will be no people who are reserved only for solving people's problems. The systems will become so intelligent that people will write their problem and automatically their problems will be solved. That somehow has not materialized. In fact, India is gaining a lot out of providing the support services for the entire world economy. I am a huge critic of this economy. All this call center business and other things, I have been a huge critic. Of course, I am not criticizing it for any other reason, but I do understand that it has given employment to so many people. There is so much revenue generated from it. That's all okay. But I have a basic problem with that industry. That industry is not truthful to itself. That is my main problem. If you can allow any business to run just because it is making profit, why should we have law against sales of drugs or sales of firearms? Why should we have ban against all that? They will bring much more revenues. We can have superstores selling AK-47s and all that. That will bring us more revenues. The problem is not that. Any industry which is not truthful, you have built the economy wherein you are not ready to reveal the real name of the people who are working in your industry. Giving all the false names and claiming to be someone and stuff like that. It can be fun for it can be momentarily fun to say that this guy goes and works there, he speaks in a false accent, he takes a wrong name and all. But in a long run, this does not do any good to anyone. The economy built on such, what should I say, such unhealthy practices. I don't know how any country can support such an industry. There is some problem with that. That should be sorted out. Similarly, many other industries, anyway, well, somehow we will stop this. Somehow I am seeing all sleepy faces. Every Wednesday afternoon I have this problem. Whenever I come on Wednesday afternoon,